Hi there, welcome to my channel Explore Grammar with Zabed. In today's lesson, I'm going to cover narration or speech, one of the most demanding topics not only for school and college going students but also for those who are competing in different types of exams. I shall use simple English to make you understand about the topic. At the same time, I'll give you all the rules and regulations with proper explanations. If you face any problem later or if you have any query or doubt after the discussion, please feel free to write it in the comment box. I'll try to cover it in my next video. So, without wasting the time, let's get started. Well, what do you mean by narration or speech? Narration or speech is the art of reporting the words of a speaker. There are two ways to convey a message of a person, or the words spoken by a person to other person. So accordingly, we can classify the speech or narration into two types. First one is direct speech and the second one is indirect speech. By this time, we have got to know the types of narration or speech. Let's look into each of them in detail. What is direct speech? In direct speech, the actual words are quoted as it is. The exact words of the speaker are enclosed in inverted commas or quotation marks. For example, Rafat was sitting in front of the computer and doing some important piece of work. Suddenly, his friend Shumit entered the room and asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I am taking preparation for my virtual class." Now, if Shumit wants to report what Rafat has said as it is, then he can say, Rafat said, "I am taking preparation for my virtual class." This is an example of direct speech. Here you can see the quotation marks around the sentence, "I am taking preparation for my virtual class." Let's have a look into one more example on direct speech. Chandra was wearing a t-shirt. One of his friends, Ashfiya, asked him, "Which colored t-shirt are you wearing?" He said, "I am wearing a violet colored t-shirt." Now, if Ashfiya wants to report what Chandra said, she can say, "Chandra said, I am wearing a violet colored t-shirt." So this is another example of direct speech because words are as it is without any modification. I hope you are clear with direct speech. Now let's try to understand what is indirect speech. Generally, in indirect speech, actual words of the speaker are converted and they are said or written in a simple language. Let's transform the examples that you have seen in direct speech. In direct speech, you have noticed that the use of words are as it is. Rafat said, "I am taking preparation for my virtual class." Now, if we want to convert this into indirect speech, we'll get Rafat said that he was taking preparation for his virtual class. I think you can identify few changes here. First one is the removal of inverted comma. Second one is change of pronouns. Third one is change of tense. And finally, use of conjunction that. I'll discuss all about the changes one by one later. Look into another example that you have noticed earlier in direct speech. Chandra said, "I am wearing a violet colored t-shirt." Converting this into indirect speech, it will become, Chandra said that he was wearing a violet colored t-shirt. Here again, we can identify few changes. First one is the removal of inverted comma. second is change of pronouns, third one is change of tense, and finally use of conjunction that. Please remember these changes and I shall discuss about these shortly. Again, direct speech usually consists of two parts. First one is reporting speech and the second one is reported speech. In the screen, you can see Ratul was talking with his friends. Maybe it's about his favorite game. If we want to report this conversation, it will look like Ratul said to his friend, "Cricket is my favorite game." Here, Ratul said to his friend is an example of reporting speech, and cricket is my favorite game is an example of reported speech. What do you mean by reporting speech? Reporting speech is the part which is outside the inverted commas, that is the part before the comma. It involves two parties, the reporter and to whom she or he is reporting. Besides, it has a verb which is called reporting verb. It means that reporting speech even has three parts. One is speaker or subject, second is reporting verb, and third one is object or listener. Look at the example of the reporting speech. Ratul said to his friend. Here, Ratul is the subject, said is the example of reporting verb, and his friend is an example of object. It is to be noted that say, said, tell, told are the most common reporting verb. Now, what is reported speech? It is that part of speech or narration which is given inside the inverted commas or quotation marks. Look at the example given below. Cricket is my favorite game. This speech is given inside the quotation marks. For this reason, it is an example of reported speech. The most common reporting verbs in indirect speech are said and told for reporting assertives or statements. But students often confuse between the verbs said and told. Let's quickly discuss the difference in their uses. Said can be used with any type of speech and is not followed by an indirect object. In contrast, we is told to point out who was being spoken to, that is, a person who plays the role of an indirect object in the sentence. Look at the speech carefully. Here said to me, I write poetry. You cannot say, here said me, I write poetry, or here said me that she wrote poetry. You cannot but put a preposition to in between said and indirect object mean. But if you say the answer like this, here said that she wrote poetry, the answer will be correct. On the other hand, using the verb told, the answer will be here told me that she wrote poetry. But if you say here told to me that she wrote poetry, your answer will be wrong. You should always remember that the verb told takes an indirect object after it, but don't use any preposition, especially to, with the verb told. Besides the reporting verbs said and told, there could be other reporting verbs such as asked, advised, proposed, etc., as long as they suit the context of the speech. Just to give a few examples, consider the given sentence in the screen. How beautiful the rose is. This is an example of exclamatory sentence and delivered by a girl named Sabrina. The indirect speech for this sentence could have been Sabrina said that the rose was very beautiful. But then the sudden outburst of emotion as expressed by the sign of exclamation would be lost. For this reason, this is an incorrect answer. So the better reporting verb to use would be exclaimed with wonder. Accordingly, the correct answer is Sabrina exclaimed with wonder that the rose was very beautiful. Again, another speech, hold it carefully, her sister said, is clearly an advice, so the indirect speech for this sentence looks like her sister advised her to hold it carefully. It's better than saying her sister told her to hold it carefully. More about reporting verbs later. I'll discuss the relevant reporting verbs for different occasions in various sections of this lesson so that you may form an effective mind map of the rules to transform direct speech into indirect speech. In my next video, I'll discuss how to transform the direct speech into indirect speech, especially rules of changing pronouns. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any query, please message me in the comment section. If the video really helped you, please hit the like button, share the video so that others can learn, and do subscribe to the channel to get regular updates about the grammatical items.